Shalom, Yibracha, Brichem Aboim, B'Shem Hashem, Nasa v'Natzliach. I would like to give a couple of shurim on understanding the tkufa that we are in today's days. Everyone knows the hard tkufa Klal Yisrael went through this whole year since October 7th. I'm not here to discuss why certain things happened, why certain things didn't happen. I just want to give an overall understanding of the tkufa, what Klal Yisrael has to do with Bnei Yishmael. Not a Kabbalistic understanding, at a practical level. More details on the way I came to the thoughts of what type of thoughts I'll be saying. I will elaborate later. Right now, I would like to plunge in to this sugya. Originally, I would like to start with a share from Hagoyin Moshe Shapira and elaborate on that share he gave. The share has to do with the Gemara, Gemara Megula, Daf Yud Zayin on Beis Va'atem. That what the Gemara says, why do we say the bracha from Kibbutz Goliath to Kabe Shofar Gadol after the bracha of Birchas Hashonim? That's what the Gemara asks. And the Gemara says, the reason is because it says, a pasuk in Yecheskel Lamed Vav, Va'atem Harei Yisrael, and now the mountains from Eretz Yisrael, Ein Nafchem Titeini, your branches should give forth Ipiriyechem Tisla Ami, and you should carry fruits for my nation in Klal Yisrael, Kikroiver Lovi, because the Gula is close to come. So we see from here that the Harei Yisrael, the mountains of Eretz Yisrael, gives fruit before the Yidden come back to Eretz Yisrael. The Eibush is telling the mountains of Eretz Yisrael, give forth your fruit, because the Yeshua is very close. So first comes Birchas Hashonim, Eibush the benches Eretz Yisrael, and then afterwards comes Kibbutz Goliath, the Yeshua comes. The Gemara in Herden Daf Tzadik Ches says, Ein lecha kates Megula, there is no open kates, there is no open sign from Hashem that the kates is around the corner. Mizeh sheneber, from this the pasuk says, Va'atem Harei Yisrael nafchem titeinu, that the pasuk says that when the mountains of Eretz Yisrael will give Paris, that is a kates Megula. What that means exactly, we have to understand. But basically, what the Gemara is saying, Rashi says, Kishatiten Eretz Yisrael Pirya Ein Yafa, when Eretz Yisrael will give with a good eye the Paris, Ozi Karva Kates, then the Kates will be close and Ein Lecha Kates Megula Yosef. There is no more Kates, open Kates than this. Sefer Geula, which is Miyuchas to the Ramban, says on this Gemara, in Yonai Shitzav Laharim Losses Piriam, that the Indian is that the Eibush is going to to the mountains to give Paris, Kashi Karv Kates Yisrael, when the Kates of Yisrael doesn't come closer, Loshev Terem Boyam, before Klal Yisrael returns. So this is the topic of the shir. We'll get more detailed into this shir from Moshe Shapira and why the shir was given. Actually a very emotional shir he gives. We'll see that later. So there's a couple of topics I want to I want to focus on in this shir. So I think it will be very helpful, at least for a Hagdama of getting into understanding what the tkufa we are in right now, specifically with the Yishmaelim, and where in history are we at the present time. So first, I will read the Novi in Cheskel Lamed Vav, like 15 Psukim Berech, and then we'll get to take a deep dive into this sugya. So the Novi in Cheskel says, Va'ateu ben Adam yahin Novi il Harei Yisrael. Eibush is telling Yecheskel, now you ben Adam, your man, be say Nevias El Hara Yisrael to the mountains of the Yidden. V'amarta, the mountains of Eretz Yisrael. V'amarta, you should say, Hara Yisrael, the mountains of Eretz Yisrael, Shimi Dvar Hashem. Listen to the word of Hashem. Kol Yomer Hashem, this is what Hashem said, Elokim, Yan Omer HaOyev, because what the Oyev, the enemy said, Aleichem, on you, Ha'ach, Ha'ach is lashon of Simcha, when they're all happy about you. That's what they were saying. Ibamos Oilam L'Moirasha Hoisalano. Rashi explains that what they're saying over here is that the Umas Oilam are waiting for the day that they're going to conquer and be Yerush Eretz Yisrael, which is a Bama, means a very high place and a beautiful place, which everyone was looked at. Eretz Yisrael is considered the highest place in the world. It's the place that everyone looks up to. And everyone was, from excitement, actually waiting for the day that they're going to take us over. And that's what they did, and that's what they didn't. Look at the Malbim, as how excitement they were, the excitement that the Goyim had when they took over Eretz Yisrael. L'chein hi novayo, and because of this, say Neviah v'Amarta, Kol Yomer Hashem Elokim, this is what the Eibishter said, Yan Yan Shamos Yishoef Eschem Misaviv. Because all your neighbors around you were waiting and hoping and to see the end of the churban you people had. Hagoyim should be Yerusha for the rest of the Goyim. V'tali asavas loshen v'dibas ha'am, and you were the talk of all the nations. They were busy talking about and hoping to see to get your land, and now that they got it, they're all excited, and you're the talk of town of all the nations. L'chein, because of this, Hara Yisrael, the mountains of Eretz Yisrael, Shimi Dvar Hashem Elokim. Listen to the words of God. Kol Yomer Hashem Elokim laharim la'gavois. This is what the Eibishter is telling the mountains and the bigger mountains and the smaller mountains. La'afikim v'legeos v'lecharovos hashoymis. These are all different lashonis of valleys and different parts of Eretz Yisrael, which were destroyed, desolate, hashoymimis, la'orim anazovos, and the cities which were became empty from people. Asher hoy lavaz ilag l'she'eres hagoyim Hashem b'savav, which were to the laugh of all the goyim. They were making fun of it. They were being mevazit. So listen, l'chein kol Yomer Hashem Elokim im loy be'ish kinasi, I'll be mekana with fire. Hibarti al she'eres hagoyim v'al edoim asher notzi es artzi, which they destroyed my land. Lahem l'meirasha b'simchas kalevov. They did it with tremendous joy, full-heartedly. B'shat nefesh l'ma migrasha levaz, in order to make it a bezoyan to all the nations. L'chein hi novel ad Eretz Yisrael, now be menabe on the land of Yidden. V'marta laharim, you should tell the mountains, v'lek voice, v'lahafikim, v'lek geos. Kol Yomer Hashem, this is what Hashem said. Elokim, hineni b'kinasi, I'm here with my kina, b'chamasi, with my inger, dibarti, I'm talking yan klimas goyim l'sasem, because the embarrassment of the goyim you absorbed, you carried. L'chein kol Yomer Hashem Elokim, ani nisasi yisodi im lo yahagoyim asher lachem misavev heimo klimasim yisrael. All the mountains around you, from all the goyim, all the nations around you, they will be embarrassed. They will be mavuzah. Va'atem hori Yisrael anafchem titenu. Your mountains of the Eretz Yisrael will give the branches will give the peres. Iperyechem tisi la'ami, and the trees will carry the peres for my nation Yisrael, Klal Yisrael. Ki kerivi lava, because the gulas couldn't come. Ki hinni aleichem, I'm now towards to you. Pinisi aleichem, I will turn to you. I'll focus on you. V'nevadatem v'zratem, you will plow, you will work hard. I'll be bring upon you all the people, Kol Beis Israel, from the Jewish nation, Kiloi, they all will come back, and all the cities will be built, and the destroyed will all the cities will be settled, and all the destroyed cities will be built. I'll bring upon you all the bring upon you lots of people, behema and behemoths, v'ravi, pari, v'shavtem, esem, k'rabasechem. I'll settle you just like it was in the earlier days. V'tivoisim yishsechem. I'll give you, make it better for you in the earlier days. V'datem, and you will know, ki ani Hashem, I'm the Eibishter. V'halachti aleichem adam. I will bring upon you, again, he's writing, I'll bring upon you all the people, es Am Yisrael, my nation, the Yidden, v'yirsh v'reishicha, and they will be yirish you, v'yisilhem anachla, and you will be to them, he's talking to the mountains, you will be to them for a nachla, they will inherit you, v'lo yisosef oila shachlam, and you will no more, you will no more lose your children. Shachlam is the lashon of losing children. Someone that doesn't have children, someone loses his child, is called a shikl, and you will not anymore lose your children. In the past, Yidden have been living in Eretz Yisrael, and they left. No more will they leave. That is the first 12 psukim. And of the Navi, what we spoke about before. On this Navi, this is what Rabbi Shapira gives his share. So let's see what he has to say about this. So first he points out, the Navi says, that the oyev, the enemy, were all excited about you. The lashon oyev we find sometimes oyev and a saina. So he says possible. Doesn't know, but possible we could bring down. He brings down a Bein Bechai that explains the difference between the Oyev and Saina, and he says that Oyev is going on Yishmael. All the Yishmaelim around the Yisrael, they were excited about your being destroyed. Fine. So let's now get. So in this Navi, the Navi is saying that because of what all the nations were excited, the destruction of Klal Yisrael, Vayin Shalom say, now came the time that Eretz Yisrael will give its peiros, and all other nations will go down. They will be mevuzah. That embarrassment what the Yidden had, they will get. So as we said, Chazal say that this Navi, this is what the Navi is saying, that the Eretz Yisrael doesn't give its peiros. That is the ultimate, that is the biggest sign of redemption the Yidden ever had. So he brings down the Gemara, Moshe Shapira, and he says like this. And Moshe Shapira says like this: when I was younger, I heard a story about Ramat Cheslonimer. Ramat Cheslonimer was a big goyin, a tzaddik, a big tzaddik, and he was very friendly. He was very close friend to the Chavetz Chaim. Once the Chavetz Chaim, once Ramat Cheslonimer came to Eretz Yisrael for a visit, he came hidden. No one knew he was really there. No one came to. Didn't make a whole parade for him. Didn't make kabbalas upon him. He came hidden just to check it out. When he came to Eretz Yisrael, when he was returning from Eretz Yisrael, he sent a letter to Chavetz Chaim, and the Chavetz Chaim, in the letter he goes into detail what he saw in Eretz Yisrael. And Moshe Shapira says, I heard the story from someone that heard the story from a person that was present while the Chavetz Chaim opened the letter. When the Chavetz Chaim got the letter, he read the letter, and he grabbed onto it, and he started dancing around the table. Obviously, that doesn't sound like the Chafetz Chaim's type, to start all of a sudden dancing from excitement around the table. The people around him started looking at him like, what in the world? What's going on over here? And the Chafetz Chaim said, with the grace of Srakshis and with a lot of passion and slahavis, you hear what Matchel is writing over here? Ihr hört, was Matchel schreibt. Ihr hört, was Matchel schreibt. You hear what Matchel is writing? He's writing that in Eretz Yisrael, there's 14 different types of vegetables. 14 different types of vegetables. Unbelievable. It sounds like he went to the mark and the shuk, and he saw them, counted 14 different types. This is unbelievable. Whoever heard such a thing? What was there? Tomatoes, potatoes, onions, some carrots. Chavetz Chaim says, what do we have already? We have some potatoes and some onions and some garlic. And Eretz Yisrael, there's already 14 different types. I guess it was very poor, the Chavetz Chaim over there. There wasn't much growing, different types of available. And Eretz Yisrael, there's already 14 different types. Hear what's going on? That's what the Chavetz Chaim's excitement was. That Eretz Yisrael is prospering, is giving out Paris like never before. So the Moshe Shapiro says it's pashut that the excitement from the Chavetz Chaim that Yisrael is giving out its Paris was that this Gemara, the Kadosh Baruch Hu is showing that Klal Yisrael is returning from the Gula. Ein lecha kates Megula. When Chavetz Chaim saw that Eretz Yisrael is starting to give out Paris, unbelievable. It was something unbelievable, and he saw this Gemara, and the Chavetz Chaim lived the Gula, and that's why he was so excited. So that's point number one. I would like to on this point. I would like to delve into this point, understand what's going on, and say over not just from the Chavetz Chaim, not just from Moshe Shapiro, but other Gedolim also. Rabbi Elia Weintraub gives to explain this Gemara, because the pasuk in the Torah, in the Teichach says, "V'sham miyoleh oivechem hayeshiva," and Eretz Yisrael will be desolate from anyone, even from your enemies, from sitting into it. And Rashi writes that even though the Torah is telling us over here how desolate Eretz Yisrael is going to be, but one idea over here is a bracha, is a midah tova, that the enemies will never find anachas ruach in Eretz Yisrael. They were never able to build it up. Eretz Yisrael is prime property. It's in between Africa, Asia, and Europe. Connects all the continents together. And over the generations, all the nations try to get it. They try to settle it. No one was ever matzliach. There were wars over it, and but they were never matzliach. Nothing ever happened for Eretz Yisrael. No one prospered in Eretz Yisrael. And the reason is because Eretz Yisrael doesn't give its payers only to the Yidden. Eretz Yisrael, you can't be matzliach in there only for the Yidden. So as long as the Goyim were there, nothing happened from their Yishuv. So he says when Eretz Yisrael is going to give payers, Eretz Yisrael will give payers. That means to say that how's it prospering? How is it being matzliach? It must be that there's some connection over here between Yidden and Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael and Yidden are like a marriage, and it only gives out fruit for the Yidden if there is pears being grown over here in Eretz Yisrael. It must be that the Geula's Klal Yisrael's time to return has came, and the Geula is very close. And this is the bittul from the klala of Shami Yaleh Aveichem, that is a klala Yisrael should be desolate as long as the Yidden are not there. If it started giving Paris, that means it's time for the Yidden to come back. That is the oimik from this Gemara. So this just explains with a little deeper meaning of why is this such a siman geula. That's because that means to say that Israel has returned to its state of accepting the Yidden back, getting prepared for the Gula. There was in the year Tafresh Chav Zayin, that is about 106 years ago, there was a big goyin, Moshe Nechemia Kahanov, I think it was the Rosh Yeshiva of Eitz Chaim, and he went to Chutz La'aretz to collect money for his yeshiva. On the way going to yeshiva, he passed Yafo. Maybe that was Tel Aviv in those days, in what we call Tel Aviv. And for the first time, that was when they started, for the first time planting vineyards. And he writes over there, we start seeing, he wrote a sefer about his trip, and in the sefer, Shali Shalom Shalom, over there he elaborates on this idea that Eretz Yisrael started replanting Paris, that this is a beginning tzmichas keren hi eschalto geula, and this idea that the beginning we're coming back to Eretz Yisrael, that is was a tremendous thing he pointed out in those days. When the Bechas of Chaim Sonnenfeld came with his Rebbe when he was very young, he came with his Rebbe Avram Shag to Eretz Yisrael. They also passed the city of Yafo, and they were actually driving through the vineyards, and Avram Shag was a big goyin. He smelled the apples. He says, he started talking to himself, and he was saying, he said over the pasuk when Yitzchak Avinu say Kireach Sada Asher Bercha Hashem, this is the field which Hashem gave bracha to him. And he started saying, did you ever smell such a good smell? Unbelievable smell. It's mamash me'en elam haba. And his Talmud, Rebbe Chaim Sonnenfeld, who was young at that time, told him, still a bacher, isn't this what Chazal say? Ein lecha keitz Migula? Isn't this the Ein lecha keitz Migula? And he says, yes, you said, Yafa Marta Chaimini, you're saying good. That they all understood that this is, this was the time that what the Gemara and the Navi is talking about. This is Al Meltzer. Also wrote in a letter he was mefarsim in his times. Hava nizboinim and naken es tafker agadol. Let's be nizboinim. Let's put in thought and let's realize our big tafkid hamut aleinu leis kazois, which is upon us in this time. That Asher Zechini Ache Kalpayin Shneis Golus, where we were Zeicha after 2,000 years of Golus, Hamara, bitter Golus, Lachzeis B'Shivas Bonim Boinim Gvulam B'Madim Anakim, that we were Zeicha to see the Yidden coming back, the children coming back to Israel, building an unbelievable pace. His Gashmis and his Gashmis Ida Hanavi. Atem Hari Yisrael and Afchet Titenu Peryechem Tisel Ami. We're actually being zeicha to see with our own eyes the his kashmas from the Navi. Atem Hari Yisrael, now it's Yisrael. Please give out your Paris. The B'Yechanan Twersky, the Atma, the Rebbe from Matolna, would say, we see b'chush that when I was over here, when I was still a bacher, in the beginning of the Medina, the Paris were b'chalal not, were b'chalal not so great. But since then, he says even then there were no maybe oranges and different things. He writes. He says, but now it's unbelievable. It's Israel is just giving out tremendous amount of good peiros, and we start seeing the haftacha of lesechsa kolboy. And this is what the Gemara means. Ein l'cha keitz megula. We start. The Shemamun Rebbe also said the same thing, that when I was younger, 40 years ago, you couldn't get bananas and different fruits. Today, Baruch Hashem, we see this. The Chazal told us, the Navi told us that this Kates Megula. Moshe Wolfson says the same thing in Sefer Me'us Techa. He brings down from Rebbe Chaim Sonnenfeld that he was, every time he saw the peiros of Eretz Yisrael growing, he got excited about the closeness that were coming to the Geula. And his times were mamish, was small, they weren't so fresh and weren't so tasty. But today's days, every time I come, it gets better and better and better. Come to Eretz Yisrael, it gets better and better and better. This is what the excitement from the Chavetz Chaim, this is what the Chavetz Chaim was talking about in his times. That this is the excitement of that the Eretz Yisrael, that the Geula is closer because of all the periods that Eretz Yisrael has giving out. Now let's think about what the Chavetz Chaim would say in our times. Eretz Yisrael is like from the leading exporters in the world in agriculture per what the land they have, and they're from the leading winemakers. You can't compare Eretz Yisrael to what it is now, to what it was 40 years ago, 60 years ago, 80 years ago, 200 years ago, and all these periods they have been talking about this Gemara, how the Gemara is that they were close to the Geula because Eretz Yisrael is giving up peiros. So this is one point Moshe Shapira stresses in this year. Then there's another point Moshe Shapira stresses, which I would like to address in the next recording.